The following podcast contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to Animated Anarchy, the show that takes a critical look at animated features of all kinds and we determine the good from the bad. Hello, it's Andrew Dickman. I am joined by...
Mike Ruocco.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to talk about another animated movie, and this one is really, well, as you so kindly put it, and we are joined by a special guest, board artist, friend of the show, Adriel.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Well, after this, I don't know. How do you feel?
Yeah, after this movie, I don't know how good I feel anymore.
Yeah, yeah. If you can kind of tell that we've been through quite a bit today. This movie, like, well, Mike, you need to put some backstory to this because you're more familiar with this piece of crap than I am.
So what was the story? Like a few years ago, we were trying to figure out because we were watching a whole bunch of bad movies. You're like, what should we watch? And I was like, ooh, let's find David and the Magic Pearl. David and the Magic Pearl was a movie I had on VHS when I was a little kid. Yeah. And I remember watching it, and I just had a vague memory of how random it was. Yeah. Even as a kid.
Yeah, random is a good word.
It's pretty accurate, yes. Yeah,
yeah, and it was just like, oh my God. And I was like, this is a perfect movie to share with you guys.
Yeah, it's like one of those movies that you've seen as a kid somewhere, somehow, probably on a VHS or something. And it's like, you want to remember what that was because it's like, it's in the back of your mind somewhere. But not a whole lot of people know about it because it's one of those, probably like a VHS tape that you got from your family like on a birthday at some point, and they're like, oh, hey, this is a cute little cartoon. Why don't we just give it to our boy and we'll see how he reacts.
See how he grows up.
Test it on him?
Yeah.
No.
It's a test. Don't worry about it. So it's like, yeah, this is basically one of those VHS tapes that they kind of just, I guess they had something from overseas. They had to do something with it. And it just became this weird oddity.
Well, here's the thing. I just watched it, and I can't put my finger on it. It has like 8 plot points. It doesn't even make any sense.
It's an interesting case study.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of it, but...
Should I read?
Mike, you need to read the description of this.
I know you can't really trust Wikipedia, but no. This basic summary is a pretty good...
Yeah.
Okay, so here it goes.
All right.
David, a boy who stays with his parents...
Because what?
It's already a lie.
Boys.
Yeah. In a small cabin in the jungle, not only gets a reliable puppy for his birthday. That's usually when you get a puppy. Reliable puppy.
A good running puppy.
Not only gets a reliable puppy for his birthday, but he also befriends a baby eagle who he names Sandy. They discover that a stereotypical boss.
I like that it's stereotypical. It's like. It's like we know what a stereotypical boss is, you know. It's just like looks like a mobster and has like dark glasses and probably talks like Eggman.
Yeah. Yeah. They discovered a stereotypical boss named Mr. Steelmore.
Yep. Now is it written like Steelmore, like Steel, or
it's steal as in you are stealing something,
like a robber?
So he steals more. He's
Mr. Steelmore in the
steals.
English version. That's what it's called in the English version.
Okay, in the English version, but
is after a set of pearls which were to be kept safe by a group of aliens who landed in the jungle. Now, the trio have to band together and save the jungle from Mr. Steelmore, who has also plotted to bulldoze the jungle and build a city in its place. And that's only the tip of the fucking iceberg.
Yeah, pretty much. It's very difficult to describe this movie in one word because... there is so much stuff that happens.
But let's have David describe everything that's happening.
Yes, well, that's the thing. It's like everything is described by David, the little boy that is the main character of the story. And he really doesn't have a very pivotal role in this other than he is the person
he's basically the narrator. He knows other people's thoughts and knows what other people are doing.
He knows everything that's happening in the jungle while it's happening.
He's obviously telling the story. Like, I remember the time I stayed in the jungle with my parents, but you could tell that probably in the original, because this is a Polish-Swedish movie.
Yeah.
It was made in the late 80s and released here in the early 90s, like 90, 91.
Yeah.
That the whole beginning of the movie just has a mile a minute. You're like wondering, Dave, take a fucking breath. Because he's just talking. So it's like, hi, my name is Dave, and I live in the jungle, and I came from Chicago, and I did this, and I did that, and I'm living with my parents, and we're in the jungle, and it's scary, and look at all the animals, and I have some animal magnetism, blah, blah, blah.
There is a moment where you're like, you... Well, this is voiced by
Christine Cavanaugh.
Christine Cavanaugh, and there is like, you have to ask her to just please slow down.
This is like
and
her
take
first
a breath.
gig, I think.
Yeah, because like it's like there isn't a moment where she takes a breath. You don't even hear like the. It's like it's just a running sentence.
It feels like someone was like, if there's any dead space, just fill it in with anything you want. Like talk about Madonna. I don't care.
Yeah,
like whatever.
But that's what happens with a lot of these really cheap dubs of foreign movies.
Right.
Is that the people who do them think there's slow moments. We need to just add funny stuff or add dialogue.
Yeah, because
people aren't going to understand. Just like in Rockadoodle.
Yeah.
They felt like kids are not going to understand this movie. Let's have Phil Harris come back in and just say, even talk over songs like, and I remember when Chanticleer went over here and did this over here, and we were worried, and like just like they're padding the movie out, thinking that it's gonna help the movie, but in fact it just detracts from it and makes it just a big cluttered mess.
Yeah, it basically tells you that they really didn't have any faith in the story whatsoever.
No.
So they just added
that Thief and the Cobbler dub.
Yeah, that's true.
Where they just had someone talking on top of the
They just had Jonathan Winters make jokes.
It was just killed the movie.
It's like they Popeyed it. You know, it's like they basically just
and that happens in this movie a lot.
Yeah, this is quite
especially with the boss character, the Steelmore character. So he looks like
now I'm gonna destroy the world, and I'm gonna be the most powerful man in the universe.
During his ramblings, he drops that he wants to build a city. That's a major plot point, and he just kind of like it's just buried in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of plot points that are just kind of glazed over from it. I mean, we also got to talk about the fact that I would have to say that this looks like the most mushiest animation ever. I've ever seen.
It's the film equivalent of like lukewarm porridge.
Everything just kind of like looks really muffly.
Like the dad
lumpy.
is made of clay. The eagle appears out of nowhere.
Yeah,
the dog is a turd.
Yeah, the dog is a wrinkled mess. It's like you take Pluto, paint him blue, and then squish him into like
wrinkly
Scrappy Doo size, and he looks like a pound puppy.
He looks like a wrinkly Blue from Blue's Clues.
Yeah, he does. Blues. Yeah,
and then it's weird because like you get like David looks. It's funny because Christine Cavanaugh, who plays like Chucky and Dexter, plays another glasses wearing orange haired boy.
I would dare say that this is probably the inspiration for Chucky. Almost
was Chucky from Chicago too? Yeah. How does that work?
Yeah, Dexter's accent.
I don't know, Tommy. Let's go. I'm from Chicago, and
I got a deviated septum one summer from being in the jungle.
So I guess we'll try to go through the story.
That's just it, though. We can't because it's all over the place. It's gonna be like what happened first?
Well,
did the aliens come?
I feel like if we try to describe it, we'll be writing a better version of the story along the way.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to be continuously rambling about the story because I'm gonna start to sound like Davey himself, just going through the story. It's like, well, anyway, I'm talking about the time that I was in the jungle, and then but it wasn't like the time I was in the city, and I was like,
it was also his birthday.
Yes, remember? It was his birthday. That was like a fact that just kind of came and went. You know, it was just like all of a sudden his mom came up with a cake and it said happy birthday on it, and Davey wasn't even like surprised about it.
He didn't
even say thank you. He was just like, oh,
he didn't. And then they dropped the bomb. It was like, oh, we got you a puppy. Yay, a puppy. I'm gonna go look at the puppy, and I'm gonna
make grabby hands at it.
Yeah,
and then the fan is like, Willy Wonka bringing him up into the.
Oh yeah,
There's a fan and the dog like flies all over the damn place in like this basket that looks like
A beehive.
A beehive. And then he just shoots out of it, hits like a light switch, and it turns on the fan, which I guess blows all air upward into it.
Yeah, reverse fan.
Just sucks the dog towards the ceiling.
The dog is gonna die. And so the mom is like, Dad, what's the name of the dad? I don't, it's like
George, I don't know.
Steve or something.
Generic,
it's like, it's
yeah,
probably, it's like Steve, Carl, whatever. So he's like, Steve, no, you gotta do something. And he's like, I know what to do. And he just turns off the switch.
Well, he has an epic run first across the the room, like he's gonna do something, like wall jump. I thought that's what he was gonna do.
We also didn't we neglected to mention that that Davy's father looks like a human version of Launchpad because he has this huge chin and he has a weird grin constantly. And in the beginning of it, it's like he's out there, what a beautiful day. And he does like breathing exercises and this weird ass like squat and stretch like
all while having a pipe in his mouth.
Yes, while he's smoking. And while he's smoking, like, more smoke pillows around. And then Davy comes over and is like, wow, Dad, you really shouldn't smoke. And he's there, like, grasping his chest, coughing his lungs. I was like, you're right, Davy, I shouldn't smoke anymore. But then the next scene, he's smoking again. So...
You lied to your son.
Yeah.
On his birthday.
You lying sack of garbage. And so after that, we're greeted to another character, which is in the middle of the jungle, and she's a poacher, and I completely forgot her name as well because they're
it doesn't even matter. I mean, at that point,
yeah,
I don't poacher lady.
Yeah, she's just a poacher lady, and she has like a gorilla, a monkey sort of sidekick.
He's like a chimp. He's like a weird Homer Simpson chimp.
He looks like Homer Simpson.
He's like a baby grape ape or something.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a purple gorilla.
And he constantly makes the sound like...
And what was his name again?
I don't know. I don't know any of these characters' names. It's like they said the name once, and then it just kind of like flew back into the narrative of like this huge tidal wave of exposition while it's happening.
Well, my favorite lines are the improv ones. Where they just like make up like talking about E.T. and like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's like...
I'll buy you a video game and a skateboard and show you a Madonna video.
Yeah,
the Madonna thing really was like, why? Where did that come from?
Oh, what she also mentioned... She also name-dropped another person, like Gwen Stefani, I think, or
something like that,
It was some famous actress in the 80s, I'm sure.
She's... Because there was computers going off. She's like, what would...
yeah, it was like
who was in Alien?
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. She goes like, what would Sigourney Weaver do in a situation?
Okay, but this is when plot point B comes up, and there's like aliens arriving at the forest.
Silver grenades flying in on a donut.
These aliens look like shiny glowing sex objects that's just are there because they're looking for these magic pearls.
Did they have the pearls, or were they looking for them?
No, they were looking for them because later they say it's like, oh hey, you found the last pearl that we were looking for,
and it was where? In a mirror?
It was somewhere.
I remember. They find like a secret stairway, and then Pip, the dog, that's the name of the dog, is Pips, runs down the stairs, comes back up, just gives him the pearl, and then just runs back down the stairs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he just kind of appears with it, and it's like, oh, hey, thanks for solving the mystery.
Yeah.
And then they just wander into this pit of this, like, nothingness, right?
Oh, my gosh.
And there's mirrors that have clowns.
There's
frames.
also a computer down
That's
there.
just that we can't discuss the story because the story doesn't make any fucking sense.
There's an ancient temple of clown mirrors.
This is the Mad Lib of movies.
We're trying to describe this movie, just picture in your head the kind of madness that we're just spewing out to people who haven't even seen this.
I mean, there's even things that are animated in the movie that are like, in the beginning of the movie, an elephant accidentally sucks in a butterfly and is ears turn into butterfly wings and he flies
and
around.
flies around. Yeah, that was weird.
And the backgrounds are all like airbrushed with like no defined space or volume or anything.
And some of them look like alien cacti plants. And,
yeah, there was this spiky
there's so many
in the
things I want
background.
to discuss, but the thing is, it's so disjointed. It would be this episode
We're
is going to be really disjointed because we're like, oh, by the way, like every 2 seconds, David sticks his whole freaking hand into his mouth when he's like asking himself a question.
Did anyone else find it weird that he had no teeth ever?
You're right. Yeah,
Like the only person who had teeth was the poacher, right?
I think
the
so.
woman,
yeah,
yeah.
because
Yeah,
she. The designs in this entire movie remind me of someone that in high school says like, okay, I know that you're a teacher, but can you please design the mascot to our high school? And
The most wrinkly, overly designed characters.
yeah, like the Eagles. It's just like try to make like bubble eyes and
Make him look
weird-
like Woodstock with a butthole.
Yeah, that's the baby eagle named
Sandy.
Sandy. Yeah.
Oh, but then the dad was going on about how he wanted to name it after like
Aunt Clara.
Yeah, okay.
his, like,
at
sister.
some point, like Davy discovers that the poacher is taking all these animals. For what purpose, we don't know. And she has
to rule the world,
well, yeah,
which he repeats over and over.
We're going to use a pink rhino and a snake and a turtle on roller skates and some eagles.
Listen, if I had those things, I probably would rule the world as
I
well.
don't know.
It's-
I feel like their poaching equipment was worth more than the elephant.
yeah.
Well, how rare is a pink fucking elephant with butthole ears?
Just hearing butthole ears, it's like
He has, like-
anyone who's listening to this
I'm
right
sorry.
now is like, I have to see.
I'm
this.
sorry, cauliflower ears. It looks like it's these giant. They look like giant flat leaves, and then right in the center, you just see a little puckered like the ear canal.
Yeah.
And it just is like this isn't a good. This is a very. I mean, I think the best way to describe the overall style of this movie is just lumpy. Mm-hmm. The characters are lumpy. The
Yeah, very
backgrounds are
lumpy.
over
Oh,
stylized.
their hands everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have like bulbous.
They have like extra joints on all of their fingers.
Yeah, I was like worried
And
about.
like even the villain.
Yeah, like they had like
Do they all have carpal tunnel?
they have like hand tumors or something. I don't know what's happening.
But like even some characters like either blush a lot or they
Well, especially the boss, like
boss.
the evil Steelmore.
Yeah.
He every second he just started blushing, and there was a moment where he was clutching himself against the wall. I thought he was having a heart attack. He's like, "Oh my god, they're laughing at this guy," and he's in the corner like having
That's great.
An
They're
aneurysm.
literally just you hear them and it's just I just imagine in the booth they're just literally yelling, "Yay! All right, we did it!" And then you just see in the corner clutching the chest.
Wonderful.
Did you catch that twice? Both villains were afraid of being laughed at. That was their main problem.
They're laughing at
They
me.
were just like, "Oh, they're laughing at me. This is the worst thing
Yeah,
ever."
he was running away. So he's like, "Oh, they're laughing at me. Oh no."
That's how he escapes. Like he escapes in fear
Of being laughed
of being
at.
laughed
Yeah.
at. Oh, this really is going to be really disjointed. But there are moments in this movie that just now are just random, just like this movie. It's just like flashing images in my mind. So this evil dude is looking for these mystical pearls, and there's a giant temple, and he just stands there like, I gotta find those pearls. Where would they be? And then he just starts pulling up stones to the stairs.
He pulls the stones that are on the bottom of the pyramid of this, I guess, a temple of some
Yeah,
sort.
some weird Mayan
He-
temple.
Of all the places that he would look for the pearls, he's and like he has no clue where these things are, and there's a giant jungle around there.
I'm not even sure he knows what they look like.
First
Yeah.
of all, you would think the treasure would be in the temple.
Right.
And you're not like, when you go to a temple, it's not like, well, before I go in the temple, I'm going to look around the temple, like under like floorboards and under stones
Yeah.
and in
I'm
between
going
things.
to rip out the bottom stair of this.
Only after kicking it.
Yeah, after kicking it, and then it's like he was frustrated that it was even there.
Who
and
kicks
he
a
just
stone?
started.
Like, some people, like, you accidentally kick something thinking it's going to fly across the room. He was so angry that he kicked it and broke his toe.
He kicked a pyramid. What did he think was going to happen?
But then he rips out, like, chunks of the pyramid and, like, throws it away. And then he, like, somehow finds a clue that, oh, hey, look, I found a little baby eagle feather that is, like, in between this stone. Yeah. That must be where the pearls are.
Yeah, probably a baby eagle hid it
and
here.
he finds the pearls. And it's funny.
Which his assumption was correct.
Do what those pearls remind me of?
Yeah.
I know the pearls are kept, there's 6 pearls, and they're kept in this weird chrome egg carton. Mm-hmm. But it reminds me more so rather than just eggs. Do you remember like those, they were like, at Easter time, they would have the gum that came in little egg cartons.
Oh yeah.
The little egg-shaped gum.
Yeah.
And but they were like perfectly round like gumballs. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was actually thinking about because I was like, it's not exactly an egg carton. I feel like I've seen it before. But yeah. They had like gum that was like that. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe it was a Swedish thing because that seems like a container that would show up somewhere in Europe or something.
Oh my God!
Because it was a weird thing that they would obsess not only about the pearls but the container itself. And they dropped it constantly. And every time
the best
it dropped,
animated thing in the movie.
Yeah, reused animation.
Yeah, they reused. There was a lot of reuse in animation. But every time they dropped this carton of pearls, they would all like split up and fall apart, and you would hear the enemies like, no, now I have to go get him again. And magically, they would
apparently they have to be in a very specific order.
Which was
for the magic.
That was the best part when he dropped it. They rearranged themselves just like anti-gravity.
They're flying in the air and they just
came back in.
Yeah.
The right order, and then it was, give him power of the universe.
They started sparkling and shit. Oh my God. And
there was no real explanation as to how this was any power for the universe.
No.
Other than there was like a moment where Davy's parents were in the house, and all of a sudden there was an earthquake of some sort. So that happened? Was that?
Oh, that was the bulldozers,
right?
The robot
and he just
bulldozers.
calls them. He calls them. He's like, "Yeah, I found the pearls." And
like,
then he goes,
"Hey, bulldozers!"
Hey, bulldozers!
Yeah, hey,
are you coming in?
Hey, bulldozers, who we've never seen before.
Yeah,
come and destroy this forest.
They were just already lined up on the jungle beach, and I guess they were awaiting orders
for the
this
pearls
entire time.
Dozens of them.
And it wasn't even the people who controlled the bulldozers because there were no people in those things. It was just like,
robots.
All right, bulldozers.
Yeah, and they
get ready to take over the jungle.
And
no cockpits.
And the weird thing is too is that he has all this power. And you think he's still in the temple.
Yeah.
And then he's in a room filled with like high-tech computers and shit.
Yes.
Which is in the temple.
Which is in the temple.
That we find out later.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
The ancient computer room
with big screens that show the random cameras around the island where the bulldozers are coming through.
Yeah.
In the same 2 angles.
Oh.
I mean, that's sophisticated technology.
The thing though is, if you step back, this has no impact on anyone else in the world. No one knows that they're fighting for power. No one knows that they're going to destroy the Earth or the island or anything.
It's pretty isolated. I don't think anyone
it's
really
funny
cares.
how the only people who know about the Pearl is this one random Captain Planet villain and a bunch of space aliens. Like, those are the only people who know about these pearls and their mystical power. Like, not even the poacher. The poacher. Like, he mentions, I gotta find these pearls. Just get them. And he's like, what pearls?
Yeah.
She's like, what
the poacher's just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna just get a bunch of animals and you do whatever you want, sir. But I'm gonna control the world with these animals. Like, oh, Jesus.
I mean, that's just it. I think the problem is, like, we're talking about this now. And you guys listening to this right now are
this
like,
is probably exhausting.
What the fuck are you talking about? Just, here's what you do. Stop right now. Pause this. Go on YouTube.
Look up
David and the Magic Pearl. Watch it. Take a break. Like, have a glass of water. Take a walk afterwards to get your mind back in order.
Yeah.
Start playing this, and you'll be like, I get it.
I've realized after watching this how much of a headache I had afterwards, because I I came out of that room kind of lightheaded, saying, it's like, oh my god, I watched that again.
Well, it was a strain on my ears more than anything of them shouting these things.
Well, shouting about Chicago. Because David keeps saying, like, back at my home in Chicago, back in the city of Chicago, this isn't anything like back in Chicago.
Yeah.
If I hear Chicago one more time...
He kept on reminiscing about his home back in Chicago, and I guess he was, like, trying to... there was something that he was trying to come across, that I have no friends here in this jungle, but like back home I used to have my friends, but now that I'm in this jungle I don't have friends, but now I found friends.
But he's so happy.
Maybe it was to make him relatable.
He's always smiling, even when it's like, oh, I miss Chicago. Big goofy ass grin.
Yeah, he was the only time that he actually showed any other type of emotion was if there was a problem, he would just start crying. And for some reason, it's like that would solve the problem.
Well, someone would solve it for him, or it would just solve itself.
Well, there was like a moment, because his parents don't really give a shit about any of this stuff that's happening. It's like whenever Davey came back home...
You have an active imagination, Dave.
Yeah. His parents would say, it's like, wow, you have a crazy imagination.
Like, oh, is that true? Go to sleep.
Like
they just put him to bed.
Take him to bed. He would cry, and they was like, oh, David, you're so silly. And they put him to bed in his pajamas, and then he would just be like, oh, you're right, I should forget about it. And then he would wake up in the middle of the night, leave, and it would just happen all over again.
But specifically that one scene, he just teleports from like, oh, help, I'm lost, I'm gonna die here. And then he teleports and is like, at home?
Yeah.
What happened?
Like, it said in the movie. He was like in the middle of the
living room squatting, thinking about something else.
And the mom's going in like, please don't do that on the floor. But they said in the movie,
Davey, not on the floor, please.
The poacher who turns good, she reforms her ways and helps stop this Mr. Steelmore guy.
Well, she turns into a school teacher.
She turns into pretty much, her hair gets somehow shorter.
And yeah, she
turns into a tall version of the girl from the Burger King Kids Club, and she dives into a mirror after Steelmore, and then Davey and the other animals can't get in. Mm-hmm. So then the wall is about to crush them,
like Star Wars style.
Star Wars, and then suddenly he cries, and then it goes back to normal. Then it fades to black. Then it goes back to his house, and you hear, I went back home. And like, why did you go home?
Like somehow he got out of this trap.
You abandoned her with this evil corporate villain, and you just go home.
I'm not even sure if they're real. Like they're all in his head,
right? And then the point she tries to tell her parents, and he's like, "Go to bed." And he's like, "You're right, Dad. Good night." And he turns over and goes to sleep.
Yeah, this entire
this whole thing is just happening in his own mind. Like he's just insane.
Yeah, it's like those. This movie deserves one of those conspiracies, like what you hear in Rugrats.
Well, the story is it's obvious that Davey's dad is a Sith Lord. And lately that's what every single theory goes to.
Yeah.
I just read something today where
everything
SpongeBob,
is in Davey's mind.
About SpongeBob. I don't know why this reminds me, but it's like SpongeBob, this guy wrote that that episode where Pearl takes over the Krusty Krab and SpongeBob doesn't know what a salad is. And he goes, "What's a salad?" But in an earlier episode, Mr. Krabs has a salad bar in the Krusty Krab.
Yeah.
But when the only explanation for this is that Mr. Krabs is obviously a Sith Lord who has tricked SpongeBob with his mind powers to not know what a salad is.
I think SpongeBob knows. He just doesn't like Pearl.
Yeah, SpongeBob had it in.
But this is like with this movie, like this is the only way now, because that's everybody now that this new Star Wars movie is out, that everyone's explanation for something if they don't understand it is that it's obvious that so and so is a Sith Lord.
Right.
So in this movie, I would say no, the gorilla. The gorilla's a Sith Lord.
Yeah, it has to be the most least likely character.
He's my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah,
he's just a dumb.
It's really weird because if I had to pick a favorite character, it would be that stupid monkey because it's so stupid and every moment that he's around, he's just kind of like, and he's like. He's like scratching.
He looks like
his head.
Harvey Crumpet.
He always has like a cup, like a plate with a cup of tea on it.
Remember the hover tea?
Yes.
When he left it, he ran away.
Yeah, he ran away and it just floated there. And then it took a minute and he came back and he caught the tray with the tea again. But yeah, and this poacher is gives him so much shit. It's just why don't you come over here when I'm talking to you? Why don't you do anything I say? Oh, I have to do everything myself. And then it's the gorilla is doing what you said. He's just a gorilla. You're complaining about it because he didn't do it in a split millisecond, you bitch. This is a sentient gorilla that can do everything that you ask for. What more do you want?
So for those that are trying to keep track in the home game, we have the story of David, who's trying to help find this baby eagle's parents.
Do we even talk about the eagle? There's a family of eagles.
And they get
house.
The family of eagles.
And then there's Sandy. That's how they meet Sandy.
Davey knows about. Apparently,
I used to go up to their nest every day.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
That's what he's
in a throwaway piece of narration. I go up there and check on the baby every day. If you don't
catch that, it just sounds like
it goes past.
Davey knows everything that's happening. He's some sort of omnipresent,
some all-knowing. Yeah,
David in the Age of Ultron.
Yeah. He's the all-seeing eye.
Yeah, but then for those playing the home game. Remember, in this corner,
there's a family of eagles.
In this corner, there's a family of eagles. On the other side, there's also a poacher who's stealing all the animals. On the other side, there's a man who wants to, a bunch of space aliens who want to get a magic pearl.
The Pickman.
The Pickman. And then on the other side, in the fourth corner, is a greedy, stereotypical villain, boss man named Steelmore, who wants to get those pearls, but he needs the animals.
Who's like a clumsy Giovanni from Pokemon.
Yeah, and he's just he kind of looks like a bloated Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, he does.
And he's this awful, long-legged looking. He looks like a background character from Inspector Gadget.
And he talks like this a lot. I'm gonna get those pearls.
Talks to himself, and he's like, "This looks like the best time to look at those beautiful pearls." You just stop in the middle of a.
Those pearls are great. I'm gonna rule the world with these.
In the middle of a sneak cycle, they'll be like, "Time to look at those pearls again." Yes, okay, and keep walking. But all this shit is going on.
Yeah, some weird, sneaky walks,
and the eagle turns.
Yeah, for no reason. Remember, he was sneaking up the pyramid. Yeah, after he got the pearls.
Mm-hmm. After throwing stones halfway across. Trying to rip up stones and grunting and yelling and kicking really loud.
Yeah.
Then he sneaks up these stairs
it kind of starts off as some sort of environmental picture where it's oh no, this poacher has caught a bunch of animals. I'm a child and I know that these people are evil and they want to just sell these animals for whatever purpose. I need to save them. And he releases them, but then they're caught immediately afterwards. It's oh no, the animals are loose. Oh, you stupid monkey! I'm gonna go get them.
It's all. This movie is all over the place.
There's a moment where, remember when Davey put the roller skates on the turtle?
On the turtle, yeah.
Just
wonderful continuity. They kept those roller skates on that turtle throughout.
He happened to have tiny roller skates that fit turtle feet.
The good thing I remember to bring my tiny roller skates that obviously do not fit me anymore. They're about the size.
4 of them. I have 2 pairs.
But oh my god! Oh, and at the end when the Cave of Wonders, voiced by Frank Welker.
Yes, Frank Welker's
does
in this
pretty
movie
much
as
this
well.
Cave of Wonders only one may enter, David. You have the magic pearls.
Yeah, he basically says welcome to the Temple of 1,000 Secrets, and then
here's a prototype of a toy of E.T. and 2 Smurfs.
Yeah, there's a lineup of what if you're a comic
some of these I saw some of these in movies and cartoons and stuff.
Yes, of course. They had to just say it right there. It's that one looks like E.T. Yes, I know, like the movie. I get it, Davey. For God's sake, shut up.
It's one background.
But it's a lineup for comic book geeks out there. It looks like the lineup of the Shazam statues, where it's and it's really. I mean, there really is nothing to it. He just makes mention of it. They look at it. Then the alien comes over and is Davey, we have to look for the pearl, and then they
sing a song.
Oh God, this song that the aliens sing.
And it's like it doesn't even go to the beat of the music, which is barely music.
They were kind of like explaining themselves.
And they're here in the Milky Way.
And then they started laser beaming trees.
They laser they shoot these weird laser beams.
They're looking for the pearls, and they're just like laser beaming all the plants on the jungle.
And then at one point they're like, "Oh, it's getting bright out. Our power is failing. You know, in the sunlight, our power doesn't work, so we must come back at night." So they fly off, and then at one point,
it starts to sound like Speed Racer, doesn't it?
Yeah, the kid totally sounded like Speed Racer. He would just explain things off the cuff as fast as he could.
Yeah, and like with the aliens, like what he explains, like, oh, well, if the sunlight goes up, we're gonna lose our powers, and then we're gonna have to go like,
you know, something that's normal. I'm just gonna explain it to you.
And then
then Racer X, who is actually Speed's brother, came.
But then like the poacher follows them.
Yeah,
and then it's daytime, and then she's no longer following them, and then they come back at night, and she's following them again. Yeah. But they don't resolve it. Like, it's this movie. Do what this movie feels like, and this is what I think would happen. The movie was probably cut a certain way, and it was probably made a lot more fucking sense. And then when it came here, it looked like shit was rearranged. They reused a lot of stuff.
I'm sure it was rearranged to hell, but at the same time,
it was probably for the better. I imagine it was worse.
I don't know if...
Unless they Shin-Chaned it and were like, let's just write our own story about pearls and aliens and bosses. I don't know.
The way that they were narrating, I'm very certain that they were trying to make their own story.
What we should do is we should find the Polish version with subs and try and see if it makes even the slightest bit more sense in Polish in the Polish version.
Yeah, I wonder if there is a subtitled version of this movie. But
someone took the time out to do it for all us poor.
Oh my God! But that just seems, I don't know. It didn't really seem like it would make sense in any other edited way.
No, I mean there's 6 plots, and then they all interweave at random times with no.
There were commercial breaks. I mean, it would fade out.
It was aired obviously on television somewhere in Poland or Sweden.
Yeah, but it's like when it would fade out, all of a sudden it's like. All of a sudden, Davey's back at home. Oh, and now all of a sudden he's back in the temple. And now he's back to save the poacher who turned good. And we're now against the evil Steelmore who is trying to take over the jungle by bulldozing it.
And then he gets locked. At the end, he's running in a mirror, freezes, has weird pig jowls and sharp teeth, and gets launched.
There is a moment where he turns into a vampire.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he has sharp canines for some reason.
Yeah,
and he's
that's when he was very, very evil.
He was very
turned really
and very
evil in
red,
that moment. Yeah,
and very blushed face. And then he gets locked in a mirror, frozen in time. The temple says that we will release you, but once you learn your lesson. And then you just cut to what looks like a mustache just flying into the distance off the island.
My favorite part of the movie was how the temple just solved the movie by itself, just like that.
Oh yeah,
we saved you. Now, David, free.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, David. You didn't need to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that Deus Ex Machina moment where the villain was escaping, and then at some moment, just all of a sudden the temple trapped him in a mirror, and it's like, no, you are trapped because you are too evil, and there's there should be no evil in this temple.
No warning, no setup, just the temple can do this now.
Yeah, it was just a way to get rid of the villain. It was like the Clayton falling and
well, he did that to himself though. He cut the vines and fell and hung himself.
Steelmore did it to himself too by going in the mirror.
No, he ran into this mirror, this random mirror, and then suddenly the temple was a
carbonite or something.
It's like the temple was just like, haha, you stupid asshole. Now you're stuck here.
And suddenly the island blooms and all the plants come back. And
oh yeah, that was another moment where it's like, I guess one of the...
And the flying elephant, remember?
At the end, and then they just get dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a moment where all the plants on the jungle were dying, they were all wilting, and I guess that was part of this guy having the pearls at some point. That was
if an evil guy has the pearls, then
the flowers die. I guess it was some sort of metaphor.
There was really no suggestion that the Steelmore was getting any power whatsoever. He looked the same. He had really no powers whatsoever.
It's true. I could just say hey guys, I'm ruling the universe now. It's the equivalent of that, just nothing.
Yeah,
there was no clarity there. At least in a movie I don't know, DuckTales the movie, when Murloc gets the lamp, he makes things evil,
You
and
can
then you
see
clearly
visually he has a castle and all that. You know.
Yeah.
And
then
this is just like he's in a temple, and all of a sudden there's a
computers
a
and a
computer
giant
system
screen.
there.
yeah, in the basement of a temple.
And he's just like gallivanting about, saying like, "Yeah, now I'm the ruler of the world, and I have all this gold, and I'm super." And,
Yeah, and then
I'm,
there's that one room. Do you remember they used that twice? Once when Davey went in it, and once when Steelmore went in it. And it looks like a spirally chrome thing, and they're floating in 0G.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
This background, it's like it's so elaborate. You don't.
Someone painted it on.
It's
acid.
like an MC Escher sort of thing.
It looks
Yeah.
like MC Escher meets like some weird '80s metal band like
It's
album
like the
cover.
animators didn't really know how to interpret this background, so they just had Davey and Steelmore just
Yeah.
kind of like step on it wherever they wanted.
Just float in space, come at the camera, go
Yes,
back upside down.
Davey was flying through that thing. He was just kind of swirled around it, and then Steelmore went like behind it.
Yeah, and then he was also probably half the size of Davey in that shot.
Well, let's be fair. I mean, gravity is not really a constant in this movie. We see a lot of floating things.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite is when Sandy's trying to describe what happened with Steelmore, and just at one point he just turns into the carton of pearls.
Oh,
and
yeah.
flies out.
Oh yeah, like a
It's
pup
like,
named
wait.
Scooby Doo.
It's like it's like he was trying to think in his mind. It's like, wait, how am I going to portray the fact that he has like the pearls?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. And he just turns into it, and then
He's
like,
a shapeshifter.
It pretty much turns into Courage the Cowardly Dog, where it's like, what is it, Courage? Like, it's just like, and then he turns into whatever the monster is
Yeah.
or something. It's just,
And
that's what it was.
There were a couple transitions where we see the eagle flying around, and then the eagle just evaporates, and then it just re-evaporates into whatever the scene it needs to be
Yeah.
in.
The scariest transition was when the tire turned into Steelmore's face. Remember that? And he just like morphed, and then he was just like in the screen laughing at you.
Har, har, har,
Oh, yeah. That laugh! Har, 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 har.
Just like the
Slow and
Santa
deliberate.
Claus from A Christmas Story. Just like, oh. Oh, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, so there's a whole thing about, like Sandy didn't know how to fly yet. And suddenly he's just flying at one point, and it's like, you're flying.
He learned during the movie.
During the movie, and we like forgot, because suddenly he's flying.
Yeah, the bird and the dog are just kind of like, I mean, they're supposed to be the cute element of friends in this.
And the dog fluctuates in size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the moment where Davey is holding the dog in his arm, and then he's petting it, and it's like you see the wrinkles on its forehead just kind of like go back and forth. And they did that animation a couple times, like, hey, look at this. Look what we can do to this dog. It's like its forehead is like an accordion.
No, stop it.
That's our A-list animator on the movie.
That was really funny.
With our
Adriel.
8 writers.
Like the moments the characters were just so close to the screen.
Like
He's just like, get out of my face. It's just like they're like right here.
Because there's those moments like when the cake is brought.
There's no comfort. Like
No
there's
comfort
no
zone.
bubble.
When Davy's cake comes in, and he's like, I got stuff when you hear, and they just like come in and they're like, look like they're gonna bite my freaking face off.
Yeah.
Oh, and at one
There were a
point,
lot of
Steelmore
close-ups
just
to it.
punches the camera, like punches the
Oh
audience.
yeah, when he's like, I'm the richest man in the world. I don't have to be nice to anyone anymore. And then he just punches the audience. Like,
Yeah, like he had to be nice in the first place. It's like now that he's all powerful and rich, he doesn't have to. He can be an asshole as much as he
He
wants.
tries to break the fourth wall, and he just can't punch through it.
Yeah,
He just punches the viewer.
yeah, you just see the fist like actually hit the camera, and it just stops there, and then it fades
Yeah.
to black.
And the sound design's really weird too, because it's like they use like almost like 8-bit sound effects too. So when he punches it, it just sounds like, I don't know. It's
like
so zonk.
Oh my god, this movie.
What else can we say about this movie?
This
oh,
movie.
there's so much.
This movie's called, in certain territories, it's called David and Sandy, the movie,
Right.
Which doesn't make any
which
sense.
leaves out the fucking dog who's a present in this movie, like he's just forgotten.
I feel like
Yeah,
when
the
you call
dog's
it,
the first friend that he has, so
it's true, yeah. And like
Oh.
at least if the pearls are in the title, you know that they're important.
the best
Right.
part of this movie is probably the opening, where it's just a Davy song.
that's right. We're
Hey
introduced.
everybody, here comes Davy. Come join the fun.
Yeah, that,
When he's at his recital in
Yeah.
Chicago, probably, right?
And there's a bunch of kids, and na 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 na, and he's just dancing, and he's doing this really hip dance.
He has this really odd dance where he's just like kind of pirouetting a little bit, but he's just flies doing steps.
Off, and then he's in a bubble, and then the bird is dancing with a snake who's just coil bouncing.
Yeah. This is in the beginning of the movie. It's like we have not been introduced to any of these characters. The title card's on an
awkward in-between of Davy holding the pearl.
This seems like it should have been the opening to a TV series, right?
A really shitty
I think they
TV
really
series.
hoped that it would be.
Maybe this was like the pilot.
Maybe it was like the first 2 episodes of a TV series, and they made it into a movie.
I wouldn't doubt that. It just seems...
I've looked. There's no other information about this thing.
Yeah.
That could explain all the weird cuts
because
and
I'm wondering...
fades. Because I don't know.
There'll be a moment where she walks into the temple and like the poacher and Steelmore are fighting, and he's like, "What a coincidence, huh?" And then it just fades to black,
right.
And then it fades back in, and he's just like, little kid, I'm gonna get those pearls." And
yeah,
dumb. Watch this movie, folks. You'll understand.
No, you won't.
No, you won't understand.
Good luck.
You will either have a conniption, or you will definitely understand what we have gone through.
No, you won't understand. You'll just like
sympathize.
I'll sympathize.
You at least, yeah. Oh my God, I feel like maybe these characters at some point were marketed, because they seem like something that would make like a toy of some sort, like a Hallmark character of some kind. I don't know. There's no information about these characters other than this damn movie that just kind of this was dropped to you. It's like
somehow my parents must have gotten this video and thought, "Hey, this looks like a cartoon that Mike can watch."
No, just this looks like a cartoon, maybe.
And I remember the box, the VHS box, was a dark, like a black box with a little window. This is a David and the Magic Pearl written above it, and you just see a picture of David on the front.
Really?
That's all I saw.
That's all that was on
it? You could have been getting into like The Ring or something.
Oh my God, that could have been.
It could have been possessed.
Can we use for this picture? Can you when you put up the banner for when the movie comes out? Instead of using an image from the movie, can you just like Photoshop Chucky, Woodstock, and Blue from Blue's Clues, like against a realistic jungle background with like Harvey Crumpet like dyed purple in the background for the monkey?
Yeah, that's about as best of an explanation as it's
someone
gonna get
commission Andrew to draw all these characters as Garfield.
Oh hell no, I'm not drawing these characters. I'm not even gonna draw the poacher, which is like this mushy,
long, weird fingered.
The spider finger.
The women in this movie are like super busty, and they have like the cleavage that's showing.
They got hips that sink ships.
Like Davy's mom is like, her body is like, well, from behind she's all mushy and everything, but when they have it like in front view, her breasts are like right there in front of the camera, and she has like Davy's face on it, which is like, oh God, no, I don't want to envision this. So it's
too late.
Yeah. But yeah, I just find it funny that the transition that she's beautiful, like after she cuts her hair and takes off the safari hat and
puts
wears
on a dress,
and Davy's like, oh
yeah,
why are you doing this to please a obviously like 6 or 7 year old boy?
No, she's like proving her goodness.
Like getting rid of a hat
by changing her outfit.
She's standing very coy and shy.
If she looks different,
like a Playboy centerfold.
If she looks different on the outside, we know she's different on the inside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only explanation I can think of.
The animation,
like you were saying, she looks like a school teacher now.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a little
someone
bit,
you can trust as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Not like, Jesse
said
from
the woman
Team Rocket.
Says the woman who at one point had an evil face with cat eyes that was held for a few extra seconds.
Yeah, she the way she reformed was basically she was trapped in a cage.
Yeah.
And the gorilla didn't give her coffee.
Oh yeah.
And then she said, "I have nothing left to live for." And she's just crying.
I think that's every person who doesn't have coffee in the morning, though.
Oh, there is. We forgot about the moment where she is chasing after Steelmore, the bad guy, and she, I guess, punches him at some point, and
she like
then
drop kicks him in the face.
Yeah, and then he's like, and then he like
puffs up.
He puffs up, and then she's like just punching him, like, and then nothing happens, and then Steelmore just like puts her in the corner, and then she starts crying.
Oh, that's right.
She
was like winning that fight. It fades to black, and then she's just crying in the corner for no reason. And I'm pretty sure there were beer cans in the corner, in the background, like painted. Like, I don't know what's happening.
There's something else happened here.
I forgot about that. She literally like loses the fight. All he does is grab her, throw her in the corner, and she starts.
We didn't even see that part. It just fades.
Yeah, that's right. It's like,
what did he do?
It's like, and Steelmore was like across from her, and he's just like, you thought you could defeat me, but I showed you.
Why did he get drop kicked in the face, suddenly have power, and then you just like your explanation is it's the pearls. The pearls gave him power.
Sure, whatever. That's
Table's turn. Someone edited this film.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can't.
There was a lot of crying in this.
Mostly
movie.
from David.
Mostly from David. Especially if nothing went right for him, he just was like, "Oh, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm lost."
There's a whole moment where the dog gets sad because the bird can't eat a bone.
Oh yeah,
and he's really sad.
So Davy brought the bird Sandy home because there's like, oh, it doesn't have his mother and father, so can we take care of it? I was like, well, sure. Kind of looks like they wanted to name it. It's like we should call it
Clara.
After your aunt.
Wait, it doesn't look much like your aunt. Because your aunt has a mustache.
Like, just bashing whoever this...
Poor Aunt Clara, whoever this is, it's like, the dad kept on, like, bashing on her.
Yeah,
was
it...
What the hell is
the
wrong
mother's
with you?
sister? Because
I guess
in that case,
either the mother's sister or his own sister.
And it kept on going on even after the scene ended. It was like, well, your Aunt Clara sure is a bitch. And it was like...
well, the mother's super tolerant because she just, like, didn't do anything.
She had, like, maybe three or four lines of dialogue.
Yeah, she was just laughing about it. And it's just like, I'm dead inside. So this is whatever. This marriage is a sham.
Do they ever explain why they're in the jungle?
I think I'm assuming vacation.
To an uncharted jungle with nothing.
That was the only house, by the way. They point out. Steelmore points out that that's the only house on the island. Because he says, "I'm going to bulldoze the island."
The temple and the obvious giant Castle Grayskull in the background.
Yeah, there's a couple castles in the background of this.
Who dropped these people off? There's not even. I don't think there's even a boat like in the dock.
No, there isn't. No. How did they get there?
Exile.
I don't know.
Well, maybe it is the human version of Launchpad McQuack, and it's like he crashed the plane there, and he said, "Well, looks like we're on vacation." Now they have to live there.
Yeah, I just love how this whole movie is just. It feels like it just takes so much from all these different places. Even though it obviously didn't, because this movie was made in the mid '80s. Well, it's like you have a humanoid, you have a Launchpad looking dude, a Chucky Finster looking dude. You got a Blue's Clues dog. You got Woodstock.
You have, Eve from WALL-E is the robot.
Yeah, you got little bunch of little Eves from WALL-E. You got the giant poaching truck from Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah,
and you got magic pearls.
Well, the thing about it was that I thought this was like someone's interpretation of an Akira Toriyama story. And it's like, oh, it's about people looking for these crystal balls, and like they're on a deserted island, and they live in this house, and there's aliens, and there's animals in there as well, and there's like an evil corporate guy that wants to destroy the jungle, and he wants the power of these crystal balls. I was just thinking to myself, I was like, this guy probably watched Dragon Ball and said, like, I can do that better.
Here's the thing. I bet we could tell if we had the
I love that part where he drops all the pearls, and then you're like, oh, my Dragon Balls. That's pretty accurate. That's what's happening here.
There's like I think if we had the energy and we gave a shit, we could probably go in and edit this movie, and it could tell a very cohesive, strong story. And in probably less than half the time.
We'd need to redub it. We'd really need to redub it.
It would take so much energy to make sense out of this.
Yeah.
But no, you just cut out all the unnecessary cuts to animals and
rearrange everything.
There's times where this is like a good example of how not to like storyboard a movie because things break the 180 degree rule.
I sometimes wonder if it even
that's
was.
the least of their problems at this point.
I sometimes wonder if this was storyboarded because the animation sometimes, like I was mentioning this earlier, that it kind of looks like, you know how in animation you look back on the frames that you've done and there's also the kind of like you have the underlying drawing before it and you draw
on a
over
light
that
box,
one.
Yeah.
This looks like they just didn't do that.
Well,
they just drew
it looks like
over.
They inked straight ahead and never went back to check until the film was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, we have a budget. It's very small. We have no moviolas. No, we have no pencil testing.
The credits went by like in a split second.
It was probably only
those
about 20
Those weren't all
seconds.
the people in the credits. It was like 6 people.
Yeah.
I bet a bunch of people at one point says, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I kind of want to have my name taken off this movie." And then another guy, "What'd you say? You know what? I agree with him. I want mine off too, and mine.
We can do
that.
Yeah.
Can we do this? And I think I looked on IMDb, and besides, there's only 2 people credited for the English version. Only Frank Welker as the Cave of Wonders, and Christine Cavanaugh as Davy.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then there's no...
The rest
are all the Swedish, Polish...
The rest were
Polish
probably like whoever producer tried to bring this over.
Right.
Tried, yeah.
But yeah, it's so...
It's just...
But didn't you say that there was like 15 writers on this or something?
I looked at the page, and it's like... It's got like 8 writers, and then it was inspired by, and then there was 2 names.
Inspired.
Or inspired, or the genesis.
Stolen from.
Stolen from.
Suggested by.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a great idea for a movie, but you have to put my name in the credits, because I'm not going to do anything beyond that.
I wonder what the budget was for this thing.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Whatever it is too much.
4 drachmas? I don't know.
50 ruples.
There's really nothing else I could say about this movie.
No, I think there's
so much. It's just so poorly structured.
How long have we been talking about this?
We've been talking about this for about an hour almost. So.
Shit, we spent almost the length of the movie just talking about how much this movie does not make sense.
Yeah, and the thing about this entire review is that we have not really... The timeline of this movie we have not followed. We can't.
No, because there is no time. No, it's so the edit is so poor. It's just so it doesn't make any sense. It just jumps around randomly. I'm sure we can dissect it. There's like the eagle, the alien, the poacher, the pearls,
the aliens again.
The dad.
When you put 2 and 2 together, it's like there is some semblance of a story. Aliens have come to a jungle where Davy and his parents have
a vacation.
Have a vacation
where he finds an eagle.
Where he finds like a baby eagle because a poacher is out getting animals.
But then it just gets so twisted.
Now it's falling apart. It's
exactly. Yeah, already it's falling apart, and we're trying to simplify it.
Do you think they were?
It's so complicated and twisted.
Hard.
But we need like a flow chart to break this down and solidify it.
But how does this movie, like, people who worked on it, people who dubbed it, all this stuff, how do they look at this and say, like, okay,
no,
print it?
No. This is a monument to compromise, is what it is. Like, everyone has their say, and it's like we got to make every single person happy. All 15 writers.
Oh,
like that's what this is about.
All 15.
Do we have?
Right,
You
got 5 minutes on this film. Write whatever's on that.
But no, but
or maybe they just went through all the writers, and the writers just I give up. This is all I can do, and the rest is up to someone else.
It's like I wrote a scene where his parents think he's crazy and put him to bed, but I also wrote that scene. Fine, we'll put both of them in.
Can the dog be sad for a good solid minute?
Can we just have that? I wrote a whole scene where he's sad, and I put a solid 3 minutes into writing the dog is sad.
I also explain why the dog is sad, and the parents will explain. Oh, the bird doesn't eat bones, you dog. It's like, oh, it's okay. You didn't know. You just go back and
that feels like us. Like we didn't know. But the thing is,
there's probably more dialogue. There's probably more dialogue in this redub than there is in the actual movie because you're filling up space.
I'm very certain that this was just This was probably done in one session.
Can we take 5 separate scenes of David talking and just overlay them at once?
Remember that one part where Steelmore's laughing and then he's talking over his own laugh?
Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm the ruler of the world.
How about we just supercut every time David says Chicago?
Back in Chicago. Tommy. Oh, my Lord. Yeah.
Goodbye, Dexter.
Yeah. That's...
That's David and the Magic Pearl.
You need to look...
Just watch this fucking movie. I'm sorry.
This is one of those movies that I hope at least you gotten some entertainment out of us trying to explain what the hell this movie's about.
Can we please put a disclaimer for the viewers to watch the movie before they listen to this?
Someone, yeah,
or at least part of it.
Could you put the link to it on the page?
I want someone to make a cut of this movie, of this podcast. I want someone to make a cut of this podcast where it's actually...
It makes sense.
Well, it's like
bringing
all the
up
parts
the examples.
All the parts that we brought up in the movie in the chronological order of the movie that it was supposed to be in, and see how that works.
It would make no difference. It's just so random.
So you're gonna hear us talking over David talking over a movie? David's already Mystery Science Theatering over his own movie.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, if I were to try and riff this movie, there would be no opportunity to riff it because Davey just won't shut up, and you're just like, Davey, please, can I get a moment in here, please, Davey. It's like the way I explain it. It's like if a child was with you in a movie theater and he was like really hyper and had like a sugary snack, and he's telling you everything that's happening in the movie. It's like, okay, well, you see, Davey now is going over to the jungle and he's going to go see the bird.
That's a really good metaphor. It's like if a kid tried to explain Lord of the Rings in one sitting.
And just like Lord of the Rings,
like during the
all this data at you.
Yeah.
Like,
while the movie was happening.
And just like Lord of the Rings, at the end, they're saved by eagles and are flown back home by eagles.
You're right, yeah.
Sorry if I spoiled.
The flying giraffe, the flying elephant,
the flying turtle, the flying
turtle.
snake.
I need to get that giraffe moment because that was...
What is the sound?
The weird kiss.
Yeah, they do a kiss and then the other giraffe is like... It's like mwah mwah.
I think this whole movie is vineable.
Yeah, there are a lot of
gifs, a lot of vines.
Yeah,
just guys, please, on the Facebook page, post your favorite gif.
Yeah.
Make a gif from this movie.
Yeah, this is probably a very gifable movie, and I want to see it. Especially of that stupid gorilla. It's just the weird Homer Simpson face on that thing. It's like there should be a supercut of all the times.
He just goes.
It'd be like that Daffy Duck supercut where it's like where all the times he says.
You tried watching it for like 3 minutes and your brain melted.
It's a 10-minute cut
of him woohooing,
and it's like I was listening to it, and all I hear is like woohoo. It's like I'm gonna go insane if I hear any more of this.
But the great thing about that video is that you walked away and you could still hear woohooing in your ears.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be in the car, and the only words that are gonna come to my mind are Chicago.
Oh, jeez.
My friends back home in Chicago.
My friends back home.
This is a movie we're gonna carry with us in our minds for some time.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
That was David and the Magic Pearl.
Well, Magic Pearls.
Yeah,
there's 6.
That's true.
Does it just
It's called David and the Magic Pearl, but there
Singular.
are 6 pearls.
There are 6
He
pearls.
finds one pearl and gives it back.
Don't try to make sense of the singular version of the title.
No, I'm just making sure you know that this is insane.
That was David and the Magic Pearl. Dear God. yeah, it's a movie that needs to be experienced. It isn't by no means a good movie. In fact, it is horrible. It is horrendous.
I think that's the general consensus of us in the room.
Yeah,
is that
even by a technical standpoint.
This movie wasn't very...
Every frame is magical. As magical as a pearl.
It's one of those movies that is so bad, but it's at the same time, you're almost like... Was it good because we were laughing at how bad it was?
Captivating and entertaining, but not good.
Yeah.
Like, just...
This is one of those movies that you have to see with a bunch of friends to just laugh at, because it is ridiculous, and you will not be able to watch this thing on your own.
Let's play the David and the Magic Pearl drinking game, everybody.
Yeah, every time he says Chicago.
Every time he says Chicago, you take a drink. Yeah. Every time...
A gorilla laughs.
Every time the villain says...
Every time someone cries...
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, that'll kill people.
Every time you hear an obviously American reference...
You see a pink elephant.
Yeah, every time you see an occasional pink or blue elephant.
Do we really want to murder people with this drinking game? Because
hey, they could choose to do it. We had no part of it. We didn't force them to do it.
Yeah, we do not condone the use of
Sign
this
this disclaimer.
Game. Yeah, we do not. We are just suggesting. We are not condoning. So
it's a thought experiment.
Yeah. That's David and the Magic Pearl. I've got nothing else. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Adriel, for joining us.
Yes, Adriel, thank you so much for sitting
during
it. Yeah. This was delightful.
Yeah.
This was an experience for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that, I would like to invite you all to our Facebook page. Please like at our Facebook's page at facebook.com/animated-anarchy-cast. This is the best way that you can reach us if you have any suggestions for movies or wanted to add to our podcast or have anything that you would like to submit. And it's the best way to get to us. We are on iTunes and Stitcher. If you can, please give us a good review on those websites, and that would be very helpful. It would help spread the word about our podcast.
And one last thing, Adriel, do you have anything to share? Anything to tell the viewers, how to find your work, or?
Yes, Adriel, do you have any do you have any sort of outlet for your work, or?
Television.
So you heard it here. You can find his work on television.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. So you don't have a website or anything? It's just
no.
Tumblr.
That's something I've been meaning to do, is build a Tumblr. Most of my time is just working 9 to 5, and then doing freelance and all these other boards.
Anything you want to plug? Any shows you want to plug? Movies? Anecdotes?
Yeah, watch this movie. This is a real doozy.
It was a proud achievement.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank our guest Adriel for joining us. Also, we are on Patreon. You can find us on patreon.com/Andrew Dickman. That's my name. If you contribute to the show, you can get access to bonus podcasts that'll be directed right to you in your email about subjects that you can listen to us talk about a month in advance before I actually post them. And if you'd like to do that, please help donate to our cause, and it's everything will be hunky-dory. You can find me on Twitter at AWDTwit, and Mike...
You can find me at A Guy Who Draws.
Yep, and
I'm still surprised that I somehow snagged that one. Because that's seems like a very common Twitter name.
Yeah, it does. But you got it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky me.
Lucky me. I'm on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter.
I'm a guy who draws. But with that, that was another Animated Anarchy podcast. You'll hear from us next time about another sterling movie, I suppose. Thank you so much. We have been again joined by Adriel. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Mike.
And thank you so much. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you in Chicago.